So over the weekend, there was this terrible shooting in Jacksonville, Florida. Governor Ron DeSantis went to the site of the shooting to talk with the community. Ron DeSantis has paused his campaign because there are a bunch of issues in the state of Florida, particularly this giant storm that is bearing down on the Gulf Coast. According to Politico, he canceled campaign events this week as a major storm bears down on the state and also in the aftermath of this horrific racist shooting in Jacksonville, which we'll get to momentarily. DeSantis said during a Sunday news conference he's going to remain in Florida in the coming days because Tropical Storm Idalia is expected to become a hurricane and make landfall along the Gulf Coast later this week. He says, we're locked in on this. We're going to get the job done. I'm here. He was slated to campaign in South Carolina on Monday. Probably, I assume Casey will be taking his place at some of those events. DeSantis also went to a vigil on Sunday night for a shooting that left 3 people dead in Jacksonville on Saturday before the gunman killed himself. DeSantis began a Sunday news conference by condemning the shooting. Here was Ron DeSantis showing up at a vigil over the weekend, and a bunch of idiots started shouting at him because supposedly the governor of the state is not supposed to show up in solidarity with communities that are afflicted by white supremacist mass killings. I'm so confused why you would shout at somebody over this. In any case, here was DeSantis, and the hero of this particular story is a Democrat council member named Ju'Coby Pittman, who steps in here and basically tells the protesters, shut up, we're all on the same side of this one.
We are not going to allow these institutions to be targeted by people.
Okay, listen, y'all. Let me tell you, we finna put parties aside, cause it ain't about parties today. A bullet don't know a party, so don't get me started.
Okay, this is one of the beautiful things I will say about living in Florida, and this is why there are DeSantis Democrats as well in the state of Florida, is that in Florida, when it comes to times of actual crisis, everybody is on the same side. By the way, that is the nature of what a community should be, is when there's a crisis, all this stuff goes to the wayside. The fact that there are people who are protesting when this sort of stuff happens, and DeSantis is not responsible in any way for this. His response has not been lackluster. It's not as though he went no comment and then went for a week on the beach while all of this sort of stuff happened. Like, this was absolutely apolitical. Good for this city councilwoman for doing that. Believe it or not, there are members of Trump's campaign who are cheering on all of this nonsense. The people who are protesting. Laura Loomer, predictably enough, who is desperate to be Donald Trump's press secretary, which for entertainment value would be very, very high, I will say. She, of course, was celebrating people yelling at Ron DeSantis for being terrible enough to show up at this particular event. She said, I'm glad he was booed. He is disingenuous. Just an absurdity, obviously. She said, while Governor DeSantis was heckled at a vigil for the victims of a shooting in Jacksonville, Florida Dollar General today, comments he made back in July about Floridians are coming back to bite him in the ass. Come on. Like, seriously, come on. Ridiculous kind of stuff. But DeSantis is doing what he's supposed to do. He's the governor of Florida. He's back in the state. And he is going to be there overseeing whatever happens with regard to this Florida hurricane. Is your cell phone in desperate need of replacement? You know the signs. You got that short battery life. Like, literally every time you walk out of the house, your battery is down to 10%. And then you charge it. And then 5 minutes later, it's down to 10% again. It's time to put that old phone out to pasture. Upgrade to a new 5G Samsung Galaxy from Pure Talk for free. Get a free 5G Samsung Galaxy with 2-day battery life, edge-to-edge display, ultra-strong Gorilla Glass when you sign up for Pure Talk's unlimited talk, text, and 15-gig data plan for just $35 a month. Plus, it comes with mobile hotspot as well. If you're not using Pure Talk, you're simply paying too much money. Get all the data you could ever need for half the price of the big carriers on America's most dependable 5G network. Go to puretalk.com/Shapiro for your free, super durable 5G Samsung Galaxy when you switch over to Pure Talk. Again, visit puretalk.com/Shapiro. Make that switch to my cell phone company, Pure Talk. It is the official wireless partner of the Daily Wire. Plus, it's a company that actually doesn't hate your guts. Plus, they're the company that I use. And I have a lot of important business calls. I take them every single day. And I use Pure Talk for those business calls. If my business calls are important to me, I'm sure your business calls are important to you and your family calls and all the rest. Use puretalk.com/Shapiro. Get your free super durable 5G Samsung Galaxy when you switch over to Pure Talk today. Everybody knows I love my Helix mattress. Did you know they just launched their newest, most high-end collection, the Helix Elite? Helix has harnessed years of extensive mattress expertise to bring their customers a truly elevated sleep experience. That Helix Elite collection includes 6 different mattress models, each tailored for specific sleep positions and firmness preferences as well. We've had our Helix sleep mattress 7-8 years at this point. As I've said before, it basically is the thing keeping me alive because my kids keep me up. They wake me up early. I have to go to bed late because of the baby and all the rest. Helix has a sleep quiz that matches your body type and sleep preferences to the perfect mattress for you. Why wouldn't you buy a mattress made for somebody else? I took that Helix quiz. I was matched with a firm but breathable mattress. Go to helixsleep.com/Ben. Take that 2-minute sleep quiz. Find the perfect mattress for your body or sleep type. Your mattress will come directly to your door, shipped for free. And again, they've got a 10-year warranty. You can try it out for 100 nights risk-free. You got nothing to lose. In honor of Labor Day, Helix is offering 25% off all mattress orders and 2 free pillows for my listeners. Head over to helixsleep.com/Ben. Use code HelixPartner25. It is their best offer yet. It's not going to last long with Helix. Better sleep starts right now. So head on over again to helixsleep.com/Ben and use code HelixPartner25 to get started. Meanwhile, it is worthwhile noting here that, again, in the state of Florida, Florida is a fascinating and complex state. I know because I now live here. I'm a resident. And, this particular shooting is obviously, it was motivated by white supremacy. According to the Wall Street Journal, authorities in Jacksonville, Florida, identified a local 21-year-old Sunday as a white gunman who shot and killed 3 black victims at a Dollar General store before killing himself. An attack local and federal officials said was racially motivated. The gunman then shot himself. He was carrying a handgun and a military-style semi-automatic rifle with swastikas marked on it. According to the police, the Jacksonville Sheriff T.K. Waters said this was pretty obviously motivated by hatred of black people.
Our community is grappling to understand why this atrocity occurred. I urge us all not to look for sense in a senseless act of violence. There's no reason or explanation that we'll ever account for the shooter's decisions and actions. His sickening ideology is not representative of the values of this Jacksonville community that we all love so much. We are not a community of hate. We stand united with the good and decent people of this city. We reject this inexcusable violence. And this agency will not rest until this investigation is complete and every available avenue of accountability has been exhausted.
Okay, it is perfectly worthwhile to talk about the ideology of the shooter. The shooter did not have a criminal history, but in 2016 was named in a domestic disturbance call. In 2017, had to be put on a 72-hour hold for a mental health evaluation. I will point out at this point that whenever there's a white supremacist shooting, we know the motives like right away. And whenever there is a pretty obviously motivated anti-Christian shooting, say in Nashville, Tennessee, just to take a quick example, we still don't have the manifesto of that shooter. And it has been how many months since all of that happened? Which seems bizarre to me at the very, very least. The shooting obviously was condemned by everyone, ranging from President Biden, who said we must refuse to live in a country where black families going to the store or black students going to school live in fear of being gunned down because of the color of their skin, which of course is true. Governor DeSantis said something similar. He called the shooting horrific and said the state was offering support to the local authorities. But as I say, Florida is a fascinating and complex place. Here was Governor DeSantis speaking about the shooting.
Florida, the state, and its people condemn the horrific racially motivated murders perpetrated by a deranged scumbag in Jacksonville at the Dollar General store. Perpetrating violence of this kind is unacceptable, and targeting people due to their race has no place in the state of Florida. Casey and I extend condolences to the victims and their families on behalf of the entire state of Florida.
And so that was his statement. Meanwhile, the sheriff over here, again, a man named T.K. Waters, he says, you want to try to blame the guns. It's not about the guns. It's about the person who's wielding the guns.
The story is always about guns. The people are bad. This guy's a bad guy. If I could take my gun off right now and I lay it on this counter, nothing will happen. It'll sit there. But as soon as a wicked person grabs a hold of that handgun and starts shooting people with it, there's the problem. The problem is the individual.
Okay, so that is the part of the press conference the mainstream media will never show you. They'll show you him talking about the white supremacy. They'll never tell you that what he's saying is that, yes, it was the shooter who pulled the trigger. And there are a lot of black Americans, by the way, who are very, very pro-gun. And it's something that the left wishes to obscure. Are you tired of the lies and the twists of the mainstream media talking points? Yeah, me too. Join me in my newest series, Fact, where I dismantle and bring truth to this tiring mainstream agenda.